Bear with me, I was inspired to write this while we were playing Jeopardy. And I am going to talk about Chat Geppetto, but I'm also going to talk about legacy. Legacy is very important to me. It's something that I think about a lot, I study it. My name's Ray Myers, and this is only my second PhreakNIC. My first was in 2001. And we road tripped up here with my new friend Alonka. We were able to crack the PhreakNIC25 code while at the conference. I was 18 years old. I was very proud. I cannot tell you, meeting her and that experience, the impact it had on me as an early technologist. I had been up for the better part of 36 hours, she will remember, when I realized I had deciphered the last part of the code. And we were the first ones to do so. So, following the instructions that Dr. Johnny X had left, I sent a special message to the SE 2600 mailing list. That was 6 words long. Nashville needs a new 2600 scene. I didn't really know what it meant at the time, but I see that you have one. So I think that's awesome. And I know from talking to people today and talking to people back then, what you're doing means something. I've been involved in keeping some other scenes together. I know it's not easy. It's a phenomenal effort. I know that you appreciate the people who are doing that work. We're probably going to make a topic pivot of some kind here. So, I want to commend you on something else too, other than still existing, which is pretty awesome at this point. Something else I've observed this weekend, as in violent contrast with other tech circles that I've been involved with, is that almost no one has been talking about AI. I actually think that's awesome. I am breaking your streak, I'm sorry. This one doesn't count, we'll just agree. This one doesn't count. So, why? Why are we not talking about AI so much here as everyone else is? I mean, obviously, we may get to that. Well, and it's not the topic. That's a good reason not to talk about it, but that's not stopping anyone else. Another good reason is that there's a lot of experts in the room, so you're pretty confident in your understanding of your domain and what is significant and what's not. But honestly, I've been hanging out with lots of other groups of experts, and it hasn't been stopping them from this panic-driven pivot towards let's figure out the implications of how we can sprinkle anything and AI into everything just so we can say that we're doing it.
More GPUs!
That's obviously the solution. Obviously.
That's crazy.
And what else is different about this group of experts in particularly? And an observation I would like to make as a quasi-outsider is that your bullshit detector is frankly unmatched. Unfuckwithable. Is legendary. And as a citizen, I would like to thank you for your citizenship. It is a public service. So, I worked as a programmer at Carfax for 7 years. That was the beginning of my career. So I guess I still feel a responsibility to point out when people are getting a lemon. A lemon is when you're not selling the thing you say you're selling. Someone's buying something that's other than what they thought they were getting. And AI is a lemon, is the title I scrawled here. But actually, I don't mean the technology is a lemon. It is depending on what you're claiming about it. But also, there's a lot of really interesting things about it. I mean, natural language processing advancing the amount that it has in the last 5 years is the missing piece to a lot of potential systems we could be building, but the conversation has been so muddled that we can't even talk about how we want to do that. All the coolest technology in the world will not help you if you do not even understand what your goals are. And that is kind of where you come in, unfortunately, because I'm not gonna say, I've been hearing almost every freaking day of my life for the last 2 years, that we need to all start using and learning AI, which I, have been learning because it's pretty fucking interesting, actually. I'm not gonna say you need to do that or you're gonna be left behind, or you're gonna be replaced. Actually, it's much worse than that. Not only does the world still need you, the world needs you now more than ever. The world needs you to whatever minor extent that you're able. This is your mission, should you choose to accept it, to do what you can to educate decision makers on what the actual nature of your work is. Because even with the best of intentions, they will not understand how to make it better instead of worse. And as they're struggling to change everything with whatever new technology might be labeled AI, this could go, neutrally, in some cases quite well, very poorly if uninformed. So the informed, I hope some of us will inform some people, is what I'm saying. This is an example. I'll just wing this part. Google Drive kind of scrolls around on me. From my area, and probably some of your areas as well, a lot's being made of the fact that GPT is capable of generating code under certain circumstances. Other times it's more like code-like substance, but whatever. The point is, writing code actually isn't the problem. Most of us could go to work next week and write twice as much code, or more, as we are now, if that were our whole job. But that's not our job, not by a long shot. More code is the exact opposite of what we need if nothing else changes. So you tell me you've got a magic box that will help you spew out even more code? I don't care. I'm over here trying to put out fires and you're selling me a can of gasoline. So what else is in your magic box? I mean, maybe there could be like some water or a protective headgear or something, like then we'd be on to something. But what I've taken from this is I'm ultimately leaving what you might call the AI community. I've been joining a community called Formal Methods that has my values, that we are trying to make software of higher quality, easier and cheaper if possible, but never at the expense of quality. But you'll have to decide what it means for you. I hope we can at least decide this. Whatever tips and tricks and techniques and magic and models and chicanery we use, let us make legacy a word that doesn't mean bad. Let's make it like it is everywhere besides code. Let's make legacy a word we can speak with pride. Let that be our legacy.
Yay! It goes faster if you don't look at it.
It really does.
We have, what do you see?
Never look back.
There we go.
There we go.
Max.
So I'm going to follow that with my little talk on how to prepare your taxes. I'm sure you'll all need to know this at some point. So you got to find your method. What you need to file for, anything that needs to be taken into account first, circumstances. Did you know that if you win a game show, you have to file special taxes? You have to file special taxes on that winnings. It's a load of stupid bullshit. You just have to keep figuring it out. I'm fucking you with you. We're talking about Toontown. I'm talking about Toontown. We gotta start that. We gotta start with that. You have to go, open your laptop right now in front of me. You have to uninstall every other video game you have because this is the only one that you need. It is a furry communism simulator. You play as a funny cartoon animal and you kill evil robot businessmen with your jokes. It was Toontown Rewritten itself entered alpha in 2013 after Disney's Toontown Online was shut down. As the result of the capitalism that the game was about killing with jokes. So can we get a rest in peace for Toontown Online?
Rest in peace.
But Toontown Rewritten is still in active development today. So it's a little bit of a better breakdown of what the game is. You have X amount of gags that you at a certain amount of levels, and you have to kind of use turn-based strategy to figure out what the best way to make your way through the combat sequences are. Eventually, as you get higher up in the game, there are boss fights and fights that have more advanced status effects. It's actually very much a turn-based strategy game in children's game disguise. But there's also the lore. Yes. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. And this is what I gave this presentation about a year ago. It was the last presentation I ever gave in college, and Henry Kissinger died during it. An American war criminal has died today. This is a pretty good. Toontown Rewritten themselves put this meme out on Twitter a couple of years ago. I'm not calling it X. But they put this meme out on Twitter, and I think this is pretty accurate. But we're gonna go over what the fuck this means, because this does mean something. It's only nonsense if you don't know what it means. The first thing we're gonna talk about is the end of the fucking world, and we have to start with the launcher video that Toontown Online had. It only gets worse from here. It only gets worse from here, and I've explained this to so many people I can say these names with a straight face. All right. So, Toontown lore starts. Oh God. Toontown lore starts with Gyro Gearloose from DuckTales, who he keeps building things and they keep being evil. And he built the cogs to help the Toons, do tasks around town. And lo and fucking behold, they became evil. And after their activation by Scrooge McDuck, they decided they began to occupy Toontown as a city. And Gyro Gearloose, this ultimately led to the end of the world in the Toontown Online timeline, which obviously the obvious reason there was that the game was shutting down. The actual mayor of Toontown is a green... I can see Key laughing and it's breaking me. Anyway, was a green duck named Slappy Quackintosh. He was killed horribly by Dip, like in Who Killed Roger Rabbit, if you've seen that. And so Gyro Gearloose rewrote the universe in order to try to get a second chance to keep Toontown from being completely destroyed. So we're going back to the start. He rewrites himself. We're now back at the beginning of the timeline. He becomes an orange monkey named Dr. Surly. And his goal is simple. Stop the cogs from beginning the occupation of Toontown, protect Mayor Slappy from being killed, so on and so forth. We figure it out as we go. And even though he has been working on this, for the entire time he's been re-alive, election day, where Slappy was supposed to be elected, was coming, and he did win the election as he had done in the past, but the director of ambush marketing, a cog that we have not seen since, arrives, attacks Slappy, and kidnaps him, and he has not been seen since. Leaving his opponent, Flippy Doggenbottom, to run the city. The cogs, under Flippy's leadership, the Toons win the battle, but the cogs do not leave. And this also launches a series of temporal anomalies within the timeline known as 26 incidents. Dr. Surly blames himself largely for what happened on Doomsday. Becoming reclusive, he pulls away from Toon Society, he chooses to focus on his work at Looney Labs. One of his co-workers, Dr. Fishington, sees him working on an unstable version of his pocket watch that he used to rewrite the universe, the rewritten device, and he messes with it while he's out of the room and gets split into two Toons. Oh God! This starts causing anomalies, and they keep happening, and eventually some Toons, they go out, and they try to find BossBot headquarters to help the movement, and they die, they are never seen again. They have not been seen since. And Dr. Surly builds this thing called the Silly Meter. Look at it. With the help of the Fishingtons, now there's two of them, like those funny cats on the internet. charges tune actions. But at the first maxing of the silly meter, the Fishingtons were nowhere to be found, so certainly went to look for them at the cell lot headquarters. Finds them on the right tower of the factory. The Fishingtons revealed they knew that their purpose was to die at this moment. And as the meter maxes, they flicker out of existence, leaving Surly alone. And this is also the first time we have seen Slappy since his kidnapping. But it reveals that Slappy is alive. We just need to find him. And they're still making this game, man. The cell bots, they get their own field headquarters, and they're full of really fun and difficult challenges. But they take over two headquarter districts. The only 4-star field office is in a district called Kaboomburg, and that's the final boss of the game so far. Are you fucking tuning up?
Hey, Skull, I need like 3 hours of this.
Part 2. You're doing this
Part
again next
2?
year, right?
Make a 6-hour video.
Yes.
You guys, we've been at this hotel since 2014, maybe? Does anybody know?
Oh, you're throwing me under the bus and spoiling
Do you
the
know?
movie?
Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Okay. Anyway,
Skip the year.
have you ever thought about, I think about this, have you ever thought about what it would mean to the engineering inside a building to have a hot tub in a swimming pool put off all that moisture in the air? I think about that, just so you know.
In the pool at night?
I think about the mold.
The mold.
A
Oh,
lot
okay.
of moist things at night.
The floor in our room is just moist.
Do I want to allow this to see, allow accessories to connect? All right. I don't know, sure, hack my computer, I don't care. All right, so you all know that we are in this hotel, and you all may have wondered, like, what the fuck is going on out there? Can I curse? Can I curse here? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to. No, I don't know how I'm supposed to follow like a history with her. Like she has the history gene over here. Anyway, so it came up again today, which was like, what the hell is going on out there? Why is there a pool inside? Why are there air conditioners outside? Yeah. I'm good. What is this place, right? So I did like a tiny bit of sleuthing, like just like a little bit. And if you're in Discord, you may have seen me post this already earlier, but this place was built in 1973. That was an easy lookup on Zillow. Also, god damn it, Dusty. Also, it was sold in 2003 for $5 million, and in 2009 for $4 million. So somebody's not making any money. But anyway, the real question was like, was this a motel? Was this a hotel? What the hell is going on? So we're gonna go over here to historic aerials, and this is what it looked like in 1959. I don't know if I can make this any bigger. Let me see if I can. There we go. Okay, so we'll zoom out a little bit. Just a bunch of fields, right?
Free interstate.
The interstate's right here. The interstate's going through. You can see it right here. Kinda. They didn't have a lot of pixels back then.
That's not the interstate, that's the east-west highway.
Oh,
Old Fort Parkway.
I'm not from here, I'm sorry, but okay, cool. So, I then found 1975, which you can see.
Interstate.
Now it's interstate. We've changed, thanks to, I don't remember the president?
Eisenhower.
Eisenhower, yeah, good guy.
Germans know what's
Other
up.
categories next
Yeah.
year.
Okay. So here's the hotel. The hotel is actually a motel. Clearly, you can see there's a big L shape right here. This is where the pool is out there. I believe there is a pool at this time. we'll go forward a little bit and you'll see. But also where we're standing is in this area. I don't know if you can see my mouse moving, but that is like another building. Like this is all a separate building from the motel, it seems like. Maybe they were connected. I don't know. I'm just making this up on the fly. So if we jump forward a little bit, we'll go to 1980. Load it. So there's a pool there, clearly. So maybe there wasn't a pool before, or maybe it was just the same color as the concrete. I don't know. Not a lot changed. Go to 81. You can see the pool better. You notice there's not a pool outside at all. There's just the pool on the inside. It's not really the inside, it's the outside. It's a courtyard. 1987. Now we get all those rooms that are back over here. That's like a new building that they built, but there's still a courtyard. Like it doesn't look like it's covered yet. 1997. Now we will get a covered area. So all of that out there was covered, is now covered, and has been this way since, I'm gonna assume, I don't know, I'll pick 95. That's it, that's all I have. Any questions?
What? You got about 20 years.
Love the hotel forensics.
Show us a little bit.
No, that's all I could find.
Great.
This is historic aerials.com.
So, have you tried ArcGIS at all? They might have more.
I have not. So this was
Follow-up talk.
Yeah, maybe next year I'll dig a little bit more into this, but I really got to get on her like vibe level, so that's going to be difficult.
Nobody died, no ghosts, no nothing.
Yeah, we didn't have any like splits or.
Look, the main question is how the hell is this thing like created? And it was a motel, clearly, and now it's been all enclosed and made a hotel. That's all I got. Also, Ben signed me up for this.
Yeah. He was just asking questions, and I went, "You need to do a lightning talk on that." So I signed him up for that.
Yay.
I like questions.
Thank you.
Alt key.
All right.
All right. So we have this locked phone,
Yeah.
and she knows how to do some cool
Jack,
stuff.
it's coming off. It's too hot in here.
Would you want me to put it in here so you can talk and adjust?
Yeah, that works.
Oh, also, don't leave if you want some cool music from the CTF guys. I think all the covers, whatever.
So first off, I'm not even going to pretend to be sold. That was incredible. Toontastic! Represent! But, like seriously, it's free, play it, it's great. Toontown is amazing. But that's not what my lightning talk is about. Y'all want to see a phone hacked? Yeah! Alright! So, first off, somebody left their phone. I believe we know the owner. Is this phone yours?
No.
Okay, then we don't know the owner. Good. I don't feel so bad about the bank account leak they're about to have. So, somebody left their phone at a hacker conference. Really? Y'all know better.
Of all places.
Y'all know better. So, thing is, Android, relatively modern, running Mint Mobile. Okay, great, cute, adorable. So, Android has an issue, and that is when you get these specialty kind of phones that are making their own images, no one ever actually thinks to double check how much of the notifications you can see before you enter your PIN.
Oh, yeah.
So this is really, really simple.
What is it?
First, screen comes on. Turn the screen on. Slide down. Okay, you see the basics. You got the flashlight, you got the mobile data, you got the vibrate. Cool, it's on vibrate, great. That'll help them find it, I'm sure. But you see down here you have device control home. Okay, we're gonna tap that. Yeah, let's tap that. Water view, interesting. Climate, 2 devices. Sir Vax-a-lot, amazing name for a vacuum. Like whoever this is, I wanna be their friend. Thermostat, 67. Okay, and oh, their living room TV's playing something right now. Okay, cool, but this doesn't do us any good, right? Wrong.
No,
Swipe down. All their notifications right there. Oh, would you look at that? Gray still plays. Okay, someone likes GTA 5. Cool. Waze noticed someone was home at 8:06 p.m. They have a really nice house. Oh my God, this is an amazing neighborhood. And they spent $30 here at PhreakNIC. They bank with Chase. Any questions, comments, concerns? Oh, and their daughter's adorable. Rooted? Rooted. But no, really, whose phone is this?
I think they're home.
Actually, no, they are. I think they're home.
If it isn't crank in the morning, he gets a Kirby Joker sticker.
I think they're home, actually. It looks like they got home at 8:06.
Talk to them through the camera. Tell them they left their phone.
All right.
Do y'all remember that guy about 10 years ago that plugged his Windows computer into the root word thing?
I don't remember.
It lasted like 4 minutes. And he had actual data.
So to summarize,
Oh, that's sweet summer child.
But there were signs everywhere.
I need the projector for this one.
okay, all right.
You remember that?
What was the moral of this story?
Thank you so much for your, thank you so much to Ben the Meek for putting on an amazing con again. Just want to give it up to Ben one more time. What I want to talk about today is the glider and why.
Use the mic.
Is the mic even on? Oh yeah, the mic. So I'm going to be doing a lot. I'm gonna live type this from scratch. So you're going to see me talk a lot and you're going to see me type a lot. I want to talk about why the glider is the symbol of hacker culture. But first, what is the most important Linux command? The most important Linux command is SL, not LS. It's SL because choo-choo. Beautiful. LS means to list your files, and SL means steam locomotive. Everyone knows that. It's the most important file. All right.
And to clarify, church, this takes about 15 minutes?
Yeah, this will, hopefully I can get it down to 10 or 15 minutes, and my goal is to talk the whole time. So you're not just going to be watching me type the whole time, although that is exactly what I'll be doing the whole time. I want to talk about the philosophical concept of reductionism. What is reductionism? Does anyone in the class know? All right, what is philosophical reductionism? Philosophical reductionism means that we can understand things by breaking them down to their individual parts. For example, what is a car? Well, you take a car and you break it down to its individual parts. Like, what are the different parts of a car? Please help me out while I'm typing.
Wheels.
You got the wheels, you got the engine, you got the frame, you got the door, you got the catalytic converter.
Headlights, windshield, number 10 volt.
Yeah, you got all these parts. What about biology? What are the parts of a frog? Can you understand a frog by understanding the parts of can you understand a frog by understanding the parts of a frog? What are the parts of a frog?
Balls.
It's all holes and balls. I love it. I love it. You got legs, you got a tongue, you got these big, beautiful eyes. All right.
Do you know when this was written the first time, church?
Okay. Oh, you want me to get on with it?
No, I'm just curious.
Okay, but I want to talk, okay, what we're talking about here is the game of life. And so the idea is that this is all about, the whole concept here is about philosophical reductionism. You can understand things by breaking them down to their individual parts. And the thing is about this particular demonstration that we're doing right now is that there are some people who believe that that is just bullshit. All right, is it possible to break down all of the aspects of physics down to just understanding the individual parts of motion? Like, no, we've got quarks and we've got other things that are just subatomic, that just don't make any sense in the light of, you know, the things you learn about in intro to physics class. So where was I going with this? I'm live programming and talking at the same time, so yeah, bear with me here. Yeah, I thank you for it.
Them with no syntax highlighting is based.
Oh yes, I am on top of it. All right, so so let's talk about the game of life. Back in the very late 1960s, very early 1970s, the internet was slowly emerging. So we got our very first look at the internet out of a collection of schools in California and the University of Utah. Also, we also got Unix around that time. Also, we had a mathematician by the name of John Conway. John Conway created what was known as Conway's Game of Life, and I am programming it right now in front of you. Conway was a mathematician, he wasn't a programmer, and so he never actually wrote Game of Life in his lifetime. Other people came around and wrote it for him. So we're going to write it for you. Let's see here. I've been practicing this all afternoon to make sure I get this right. And then I get it wrong. Gotta get that one right, or y is greater than or equal to height. There we go. And then we are going to return self.board y. All right. So there we go. Let's see here. There's one more in here. Show self for row in self.board. Print join. And then we're going to do a lambda expression in there. If call equals 1, else we're going to do a blank space. And then for call in row. There we go. That is the end of that particular class. Now we're going to go into the actual game of life, where we will have a def and init. Okay, let's start talking about the game of life. The game of life was a computer simulation that simulated the lives and deaths of individual creatures that John Conway conjured up inside of this particular simulation. And so the simulations, they're just represented by zeros and ones. 0 means that there is no person living on a particular cell. 1 means that there is a person living on a particular cell. And I'm going to use the asterisk character to represent that a person is living on a particular cell. So there we go. Self width is equal to width. Self height is equal to height. And then I need to set the board in this particular game. So we're going to say for y in range height, for x in range width. I'm typing this completely from memory. Oh, equals, and then I messed up the one line there. This needs to be randomized. So if random.random is less than 0.4, we're going to set it up in this particular game of life. So a cell starts off as being living with a probability of 0.4, and that's all that really means. We're going to need to have a... A what?
0.42.
Oh, yeah. Of course. How did I forget that? It's 0.42. So close. You know, I'm glad you were here in order to help me fix that little mistake. I mean, that is so essential to get this to work. All right. And then you need to, so we have the game of life board that's going to set up our board randomly. I just have a method there to show the board. And then we're going to advance 1 generation each time. And I need to put a self there because Python makes you write self in every single method. So the game of life, what it does is that on every iteration, it looks at a particular cell and it counts the number of neighbors in that cell. So I need to set up a next board, which is going to be the receiving end of the next generation. And then we are going to loop over every cell on the board. All right, self width. And then we're going to count up the number of neighbors. And then we are going to start we're going to start counting up the number of neighbors, and we're going to get every single neighbor from each of the surrounding cells. So I'm going to start off with x minus 1, y minus 1, and then just to make this easy, because y'all are doing a great job of, we are going to, let's see here, yy8p, there we go. We're gonna count all 8 neighbors surrounding a center square, and so now I have to go through and count all of these up. We're gonna do, let's see here. Oh, that's there we go. Oh, that needs to be minus 1. That needs to be plus 1. That needs to be minus 1. That needs to be plus 1. That needs to be, those all need to be pluses. Oh, see, I'm getting nervous and I'm getting off my track.
A little bit.
Choo-choo. Choo-choo. All right, so I've got all the neighbors counted. There are, for every single cell, there will be 8 neighbors, and so hopefully I've got 8 lines there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. The default behavior of every single cell is just copy the original cell over to the new cell. So we're going to say next board set x, y, and then we're going to say this dot board get x, y. There we go. That's just the default behavior. That is the most basic rule. There are 3 rules in the game of life. The first rule is just the default rule, copy the value over. The second rule is the birth rule. The birth rule in the game of life is that if there are 3 neighbors, if neighbors is equal to 3, y'all are giggling. Then there is a birth, and that means you set the value to 1. Else if there are less than 2 neighbors or greater than 3 neighbors, then that neighbor dies. So this is the death condition.
If it's West Virginia, can you change neighbors to sisters?
We can change neighbors to sisters. There we go. Sisters. All right. There we go. So that's it. Those are the 3 rules. Number 1, copy the original value over to the new board. If there are exactly 3 sisters, then a new sister is born. And then if there are fewer than 2 sisters or more than 3 sisters, then that sister just dies. All right.
Biblically accurate.
So self.board is equal to next. Thank you so much for your patience, everyone. I am done with the game of life. I need to write a couple of. I just need to write a couple of drivers left. So there we go. Game of life. We're going to do a 15 by 14 board. 50 by 14 board. Then hopefully I get all of this right. Hopefully there are no syntax errors in everything I've done. While true, we are going to Game of Life show. We will Game of Life advance. And then we are going to time.sleep 0.5 seconds. Okay. Hopefully I did all that right. How many lines was that? Word count -L, Game of Life. There we go. That was 67 lines of Python. Let's do Python 3, Game of Life. Oh, I hit an error. Oh.
Yeah, 2 lines short. That's the problem.
2 lines short. Let me. Okay, that was line 32.
I'm so proud of y'all.
All right. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I had a set method there. There we go. That should do it. Oh, okay. Now we're on. Okay. Let's do this. Let's do this. Oh. Can we just pretend I got it right?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Demagogues required 69.
No. All right. So there we go. Python 3, draft 1. There we go. All right, cool. I got it right. This is the game of life, and eventually you're going to see patterns appear in the game of life. For instance, there's some solid state patterns, like here's a solid state pattern that doesn't move. There's another solid state pattern that doesn't move. There's, I think, blinkers. Yeah, they're like Christmas lights. They're blinkers. We're going to start this over again. And I want you to look for the pattern that exists in that arrangement. 3 dots along the bottom, a dot over here, and a dot over there. That's called the glider. Now, the glider came about because of, does anyone know? The jargon file from the early 90s. The internet jargon file which defined hacker culture. They picked out that glider, that symbol. Maybe you've seen it while I've been glancing over the shoulder. It's supposed to symbolize hacker culture because it's a rebellion against reductionism. Because you see all the complex shapes that emerge out of just those 3 simple rules? Oh, did we have a glider appear?
Almost.
Almost.
Yeah, it flew into the corner.
It flew into the corner?
Yeah, the square was a glider.
All right, we're going to start it over again. Maybe you'll see a glider appear. Remember what reductionism is? We can understand a system by breaking it down to its individual parts, and then there are 3 parts of the game of life. You copy the value over. If there's 3 sisters, you're born, and if there's less than 2 or there are more than 3, you die. Can you understand any of that from those 3 rules that I just typed into the program? And the answer is no, not really. Most people can't. And so that is the rebellion against reductionism. Hackers have a rebellion against reductionism. We are destined to create things. We're destined to destroy things. But we have a little bit of back and forth. The things we do don't really make sense to anyone else outside this room. What we do for fun, other people wouldn't do for money. And that's that kind of hacker mentality that it was chosen way back in the early 90s, was represented by the glider from Conway's Game of Life. Thank you so much for letting me go through this little demonstration with you.
Do you have a talk? You want to say something?
2 minutes. Maybe.
Okay, all right. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Oh, that's
Thank
cool.
you so much, Ben.
Yeah. That's the first line out of it.
All right, last lightning talk.
Last? Okay.
Hi, my name is Joe Torrey, and I'm a hardware hacker, and I'm very concerned. If you missed my talk about these I don't know if you did or not, but magnetism is real. And God, I would have sworn my magnet was stuck to something. It's probably stuck to my floppy disk in here. Anyway. Alas, it's not on a glider, then it would escape demagnetizing anything. The talk I made is about clip leads that we all buy if you're a hardware hacker, and you have them, and they're a very utilitarian tool to connect something from somewhere, like here, to me, or to some part. And what has been discovered is that the clip leads are not, this is a real clip lead. It's made of copper wire, because the wire is usually made of copper, because silver is too expensive. Silver is 4% more conductive than copper, but there is no other element that is more conductive than silver over copper. There's no element in there. Silver is the most conductive material electrically and thermally, period. So, anyway, this wire from China, and these clip leads that I bought, and the reason I have a knot in them, thank you, sir. Thank you, and because I am going to throw this into the trash because it is a piece of trash wire. It is made of iron that is copper plated to fake you out and think that you bought copper wire from another country that made these. Some people call this alloy copper plated aluminum or copper plated iron or copper plated fake things, like a gold ring that's not solid gold. It's just gold plated. Well, this is in miles, hundreds and thousands of miles of this type of wire has come into the United States in the form of these clip leads. I don't know if it's an industrial problem also, but anyway, this wire is not wire. And that's why I put a knot in it right there, because this is not a clip lead that I can trust to connect two things together. And neither is this one. Just because it's yellow doesn't matter. You can't judge my color. The wire is magnetically attractive because it is iron. It is not copper wire. It is not a conductor. Yes, Henry?
Unless you have a very large current, doesn't the conductance take place on the surface of the wire where the copper is?
Only at RF frequencies. Yes, that is true. And that is why all copper conductors are silver plated for radio frequency uses, where the skin effect is in fact in effect. But at RF, none of the current goes through the center of the wire. It all skin
If
effect.
I'm doing a 1 megahertz microprocessor, is that RF?
No, that's not fast enough. It won't matter. It won't matter. Well, try both.
Okay.
And tell me the results. Now, you bring up an interesting point because you brought up plating of it, or I did. There is a type of wire, copper wire, that's called Litz wire, which is comprised of, instead of several strands of wire, it's composed of as many strands of wire as you can possibly make. The smallest wire that you can possibly make, and there's a limit to that, copper wire, of course. And that wire is then woven, and so that the majority of the cross-sectional area of hundreds of thousands of smaller wires has a cumulative surface diameter of conduction for radio frequencies, like you said. And so that having the same amount, if you had just had one solid wire that's 1 unit of diameter, or you had 100 wires of, 3.14159265358979323. I can't calculate it right now, but a whole bunch of hundreds and hundreds, as many as you can possibly do, that were actually the same diameter as that solid wire. It would have nothing but surface conduction and no conduction through the actual wire. It would all be on the surface. And the best radio frequency coils that were made last century, early last century in fact, were made of Litz wire. And it's very delicate. It's like lace or something. It's just a really delicate tan colored wire, very, very delicate. And the coils perform better than any coils we make today, because now we use very small coils with ferrite inductors in order to increase the conduction. And it's just nothing like it was before. But if you ever take apart an old AM radio and find that black stick of ferrite in it, you will look at, if you see that wire, you will notice that it is not strung with hundreds of turns of wire. It's strung with hundreds of turns of Litz wire, L-I-T-Z. It's a German guy who came up with it. I don't know. Yes?
Did you notice the talk where the guy talked about sub-gigahertz frequencies as being very low frequencies, where radio engineers call them ultra-high frequencies?
I did notice that.
Yeah.
I did notice that. I think a lot of us did, but we just didn't want to.
Yeah.
Wrong. All right, I'm really pissed, peed, sorry, that I don't have my magnet handy because this wire is junk. And if there's a magnet in the house, when I drop it, I thought I dropped it last time. What's up here? If there's a magnet in the house, this magnet is iron wire. This is not a copper wire. There is no way in hell, there's no way in heck.
I don't think Google cares.
Okay. There's no way in heck you could make an extension cord out of this kind of wire. It would like start smoking as soon as you started using it.
Joe, give me the wires. I'll put them in my computer and you'll never see them again.
Strick, that is not problem solved. The problem is there are thousands of miles of that type of wire in the hands of entrepreneurs and inventors and creators and test equipment.
Save the children!
Come on, I was going to get to that. There's so many other people that are affected before you start, golly, of course the children. Like I wasn't going to say that? What about them? What about their rights to electronics? And the earlier you get your kids starting in electronics, the better. But that kind of wire is everywhere, and it's been here for years, and I don't even remember when it started. But I do remember doing lots of laboratory experiments with my own wires that I innocently bought, thinking they were real jumper wires, which I used to be able to buy, that they were the same, because they looked the same, because they had the same red little connector. Oh, it's a red wire. Yeah, that's my positive. Yeah, black's my ground wire, or negative wire. And then the green one's the ground. Yeah, and the white one's the signal. And the yellow one is that special one that's a different wire. No. Now, they're all completely random. And by the way, the way I picked out those wires was that I just got a super magnet, and I just dipped my magnet into my pile of those wires. A big, box, you put 8.5 by 11 paper from Home Depot. Used box full of those wires. I'm just reaching and grabbing one. Yeah, I need a red one, I want a green one, I want a yellow one, I want a white one, and the magnet pulled up some wires. Oh. And this is all after I saw the YouTube video of the heroic person that discovered this, and I have his card. Yes, here it is. The name of the person that I want to credit with what I am broadcasting to more people than his YouTube channel. His YouTube channel is Matthias Random Stuff. Matthias Randomstuff. And the name of the video that I watched 2 days ago is called Clip Leads Made with Fake Wire. And
it's nothing sacred.
Think of the children.
The internet wins again.
Yes, I think conductivity and the rules of physics should be sacred. That we can connect things from point A to point B without there suddenly being this new attack. And the problem with this attack is that it may be only 0.5%, that 0.5% of us are influenced by this. But if you multiply it by millions of people across not just the United States, but the world, that are under the attack of shitey wire, then it's a big effect. Oh, and there was one last question.
Yeah, didn't you say that they were using aluminum, which is also crap? But,
They are
but
using
that it was-
aluminum in
but
transformers.
that's too light, so people were figuring it out. and that's
Yeah,
why
it didn't
they
weigh
started
enough.
using iron,
It didn't,
right?
it's like, why didn't this transformer weigh 50 pounds? It only weighs 36. Yeah, they did that. They changed it to iron, but then that became even worse.
Yeah, well, it corrodes way worse.
I thought aluminum was highly
Does it work right from the
conductive.
start?
Well, it is compared to iron. Remember, iron wire is what's in your toaster. It's what's in all of iron wire is what, whenever you pass electricity through it, it gets hot and it heats your home and it heats your food. Okay. I don't want to heat my electronics. I want the electricity to go from point A to point B with no heat being generated. And if you go to that website, you'll see a picture of him of where he's laid out good clip lead wires connected to another, connected to another, connected to a fake, connected to another, connected to a fake, connected to another. And all the bad wires, I mean, I'm really serious about this. They are absolutely faulty wires. And in the picture, you can see they heat up. And I've done it myself. And oh, there's not another day. But I can bring down a power supply and you can just hook up two wires, this good one and the bad, any of the bad ones, and one of them will get hot and the other will be the same temperature as the table it's laying on.
All right.
I'm done.
Yay! Into that wind again.
We've got to pack some stuff up, so Stephen, get on the road. Thanks, everybody.
I'm sorry.